What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for coming and checking out that Fat Guy Builds. From the title, you know what happened. Alternator died. So, it sucked. I had to tow this thing. First time it really broke and I had to tow it in 150,000 miles, so I'm not going to complain. But what I am going to do is put an alternator in the damn thing. So, let's do this stuff step by step. Let's go. Here's a part I'm using. Duralast DL2424-14-6. Get the car in the air. Pop the hood. Take the positive wire off of the battery. We need to take the throttle body clamp off here so we can get this pipe off. If you have an aftermarket intake pipe, then you should have a clamp here. Otherwise, you're going to have to get the clamp off the intercooler, which means you're going to have to remove this under piece here. And then that way you can get to the clamp at the intercooler back there. So good thing I pulled the tray pan off anyways, and I took it off from the intercooler because I guess something was rubbing on this, so I'm gonna have to go buy a new one. Doesn't look like it rubbed through, but must have been rubbing here. You're gonna put 3/8 ratchet here. You're gonna lift, which is going to move the tensioner, and then we're going to take the belt off. Now there's no tension on this belt. Just go ahead and take the belt off of the alternator. Going to disconnect these plugs for the AC because the alternator will be attached a little bit to it for the wiring harness. And I'm going to disconnect the mass airflow sensor to make your life easier. You're going to push down on the clip here and pull this plug off the alternator. So we need to get the AC compressor out of the way. You got a 13 mil here, 13 mil here, 13 mil here. And then once you get this off, this is a 5mm hex, and that'll pull the stud out, and that way we can take the compressor here and push it out of the way so that we can actually get a better reach into the alternator. Now we need to unhook the positive wire, so you need to pull this boot and then pull the boot and take this nut off to get the positive wire off the alternator. The alternator nut is a 13mm. So now there's 4 screws. There's 10, 10, 10, 13. Okay? So I'm just gonna remove all of them just to make it a little bit easier to pull out. Pull out. Anyways, you're gonna pull this stud out with a 5mm as well. Take this 10mm bolt out from the top of the alternator. Once you got those bolts on the bottom out, then there's dowel pins that everything sits on like this. So you have to lift it away from the motor. And there's a dowel pin at the top too. So yeah. Then when it goes back together, it'll do the same thing. Dowel pin in the block, dowel pin in there, dowel pin up here. So just make sure the alternator matches. Get all of these 4 hand tight, sort of, so that everything's lined up. And then we're gonna go on top and we're gonna tighten down that top single one. Make sure that everything's lined up there nice. Then we'll come back down here and tighten these down. Screw the positive wire back on the alternator, plug in the connector. Now we're gonna take the AC, start bolting that stuff on. Since you're already in there, might as well just grab some belts, since both belts are off, and just buy 2 brand new belts, even if they're not totally bad yet, because getting to them later is just going to be a pain in the ass. So just change them now. Once you have all this done, then the only thing left is to put on the intake pipe back to the intercooler, and then all this plastic garbage. And then we're going to just go put the battery wire on. Then you're going to use a tuner or something, reset any trouble codes you have, any engine codes, just reset them, and then this job's all done. I'd like to thank all you guys for coming and checking out another video. Hopefully this saves you some money and some aggravation dealing with dealers or whatever. So if it did, give me a thumbs up. If it didn't, give me a thumbs down. If you don't know anything about this shit, just comment, ask questions. I'll try to answer you guys. Check me out on Patreon. And until next time, wrench on.